Hello everyone, happy President's Day. So, we're all going to die. But some of us might get cooler headstones than others. Now, I thought it would be pretty interesting to rate and, critique, if you will, some of the headstones of American presidents. I have all 40 headstones of all 40. As you can see here, I have all 40 headstones of all 41 presidents of the United States. And if you're wondering how that adds up, I put Grover Cleveland there twice. Deal with it. So originally I did have these in order, but it didn't really put it in order. So the man himself, Mr. George Washington, who is where President's Day comes from. I'm sorry, George. My big thing with his grave. I mean, it's not bad, but my thing is the external structure. It looks weird. It's like he's put in he's literally behind a chain link fence. It looks like it's a tourist attraction, which incidentally 100% is. So I'm gonna put that in B for now. Actually, I think I'll have to do C for that, to be honest. No disrespect, George, but okay. I'm pretty sure this one is John Adams, the second president of the United States. He's buried under a churchyard, which I think is pretty interesting. And, especially if it's a church that he was, familiar with going to, which, I don't know, I feel like that's pretty cool. Oh, Thomas Jefferson. Again, a lot of these are plain. It's just, I don't know. It's not too creative. It doesn't seem all that cool. It's not like what you would think this historical figure's headstone would be. That's not, again, I don't think what is good about the presidents and the presidency is that these are ordinary people that when they're done, with their term, they go back to being regular citizens, which is cool. But I feel like they should at least be a little more creative with it. I mean, most of these are just obelisk. It's not really too creative. I'm sorry. I mean, again, another obelisk. This one at least does look. Honestly, actually, I'm putting Thomas Jefferson's in D tier. I'm sorry. It's not much of a reflection on, well, kind of, but it just needs to do more. With James Madison, it looks interesting. It does look interesting. It looks pretty cool. Which reminds me, the bird cage, as it's referred to, originally I didn't think I would put this one that high, but I think just the fact that's a structure is cool. And unlike the first four, if I'm not mistaken, it's in a public cemetery. I know for Washington, Jefferson, Madison, they're all buried on their plantation, so it's not outside of their family anyone else can be in there. To my knowledge, I'm pretty sure other people are buried in that cemetery that aren't connected with him, so I think that's pretty cool. John Quincy Adams, buried in close proximity to his father, which I think is pretty cool. Andrew Jackson's it's similar to George Washington's, except I don't know, that one I talked about the gate with George Washington's, but this one you can open the gate and put flowers there. This one just seems like a exhibit, It doesn't seem all that cool. Martin Van Buren. It's not. Honestly, yeah. I will give it credit to, again, being in a public cemetery. It's unique to a certain extent. They do have an additional placard there, but it's a very mid-tier one. There's not too many stellar ones so far. William H. Harrison. I'll actually see. I don't really like graves that are. What are they called? I don't love mausoleums and I don't love crypts. So I have to put that in C. John Tyler. John Tyler's is very, very grandiose, and again. It's not that it's not cool, but it just doesn't. It doesn't seem to be all that unique. And it's in my opinion, this is a bit too much. So, do do I put it in D tier? I'm not trying to have my personal like feelings on these presidents like affect my thing. It's not, but it's there's a correlation. And then now we got one most effective U.S. president, President James K. Polk. Now Polk has actually had his like freaking grave like removed like 3 separate times. They might remove it again. If I'm not mistaken, this is the one at the Tennessee state capitol. It's unique, but it seems a bit much, especially if you moved it that many times and you're still contemplating moving it to a different place. Like now, my favorite president, Zachary Taylor, like his again another crypt, another like mausoleum thing. It works good for him, but the cemetery as a whole, pretty cool. It's like a national cemetery, so props to that for his. It's more subtle. Millard Fillmore is again like it's a needle. Like the Washington Monument already gets enough shit, but it's a needle. Like what do you want me to say? It's like if it doesn't do anything and it's just pointy stick, like come on people, be creative with it. Now Franklin Pierce, that's being more creative with it. And we got back-to-back like pretty good one, like James Buchanan for being a not good president. That's a solid headstone. Now Abe Lincoln. Now the thing that I'm putting this low, I'm putting it this low for a reason, just cause when you actually go to because it's like almost a museum, which is pretty cool. But my big gripe with it is like where he's actually buried isn't where the headstone is. There's a whole YouTube video talking about just like the making and like all the craziness that happened like with Abraham Lincoln's body after he died and when he was buried for like 3 different times in different places. Andrew Johnson's has a pretty freaking cool headstone. Like it's again, it does something creative with the obelisk. Like it actually has more dynamic looking stuff on it as opposed to just being their name and a big needle. That's like it can be creative and it can look good. Now S tier, you got Hugh Grant's tomb. This is different than. Now, the reason why this one's so high and Abraham Lincoln's is by proxy so low is because when you get to the crypts, that's actually Grant's body. And also a pretty cool person wrote a whole book about the tomb, which I still need to read. I will read it, I promise. I just haven't yet because I'm lazy. But that's definitely a S tier headstone. Old Rutherford B. Hayes. Again, this is a similar vein to James Buchanan. It's just like a solid looking headstone. It's not like trying to be too much. It works fine for what it is. I'm going to put James Garfield's in, well, actually, yeah, that's S tier. That's S tier. Especially because, to my knowledge, like where his actual like casket is, because I'm pretty sure it's his casket or sarcophagus. I don't know the exact term for it, but his sarcophagus is to my knowledge one of the only ones that is currently still draped in the U.S. flag. I know that both Adams's have small ones, but his has like the full one that like for military funerals you still have. So I think that's very cool. Now, Chester Arthur's, that's how you do a cool frickin' headstone. And it's like what this one has over Grant's and Garfield's is, again, theirs were like built around them, and like I think Garfield's is like in a cemetery. His is like you can just walk up to it and it's like a mix regular people, which I think is pretty freaking cool. And also, look at it. It looks freaking sick. It looks sick. Now, Grover Cleveland. Again, this is a solid one. Not too much. It's not trying to be more than it is. I think this is one of the more modest headstones, which I think is pretty cool. Benjamin Harrison. Like it just doesn't do much. Like, I do appreciate that it has, like, his accomplishments on it. I think that is, in itself, pretty creative. But it just doesn't do anything too unique. And Grover Cleveland is obviously up there twice, because, yeah. William McKinley, see, there's a trend for these presidents to have super extravagant, like, external headstones. So, I'll put that in a solid A tier. Solid A. Now, again, another S tier. Just, I don't know, this, for being one of the, like, most influential presidents, his headstone is, by proxy, actually pretty mundane. He doesn't have a big mausoleum to him. He doesn't have a big, like, obelisk to him. He has, the classic one, with his name and his wife's name on it. But one thing that really sets this up, for me at least, is because it has an additional one for his military service. Of course, it's a Medal of Honor plaque, which I think is super cool. William Howard Taft, the first president to actually be buried in Arlington. Of course, we'll come to the other one very soon. You at least do something. With the obelisk. It's not much for being, the biggest president. This is a very relatively small in proxy to some of the other headstones that we have seen. Woodrow Wilson, I'm sorry, it's being the it's this kind of is reflecting how I view some of these presidents. But Warren Harding, Mr. President Warren Harding, I'm sorry. Calvin Coolidge. This is arguably, in my opinion, the most modest headstone of any of these presidents. And there's actually a lot of, like, modest ones, but in terms of it just pretty much just saying his name, it doesn't even say. It has the presidential seal, his name, when he was born, and when he died. That is it. And I just love it. That's more laid back. It's more, it is reflective of who he was. He's known as Silent Cal. In my opinion, one of the greatest presidents in American history. I think that headstone really reflects it. And that is, again, it's a cool looking design for how, simplistic it is. Herbert Hoover, again, not a bad one. It's just a slab that says his name. If it were up to me, I would have it more like because if I ever became a president, I would probably want to have a slab that has, like, the accomplishments of my, like, administration, or, like, things that were significant to me, like military service, like if I held any other position in government or anything like that. But for what it's worth, that's pretty subtle. I thought this would have been a solid B tier, but FDR, I'm sorry, you're going a little bit to C. It's like, it's not bad, but what Buchanan's and Hayes have over you is that it's not just a block. See, this, again, if there was one, if I became president, because I've thought about this many times, that I would like to have kind of modeled after, probably not made out of granite or whatever material this is, probably looking more like Johnny Cash's headstone, ironically, because I love, like, the black design. Dwight David Eisenhower. Sorry, my buddy's calling me. Alright. Anyway, again, this is a cool headstone. It's in his presidential library, which Jack Kennedy's, again, that's a solid one. Like, you can't go wrong with him. Buried at Arlington, second president buried at Arlington, their eternal flame. Like, I appreciate to a certain extent how modest it is. I just, design wise, I don't think it looks good. Yeah, like, honestly, in terms of, like, I don't know, I've thought about, like, 3 different headstones for myself just because I'm a weirdo. The one that I think would like the most is probably most similar to this one. I'm sorry, Jerry Ford. Like, there's just, like, it looks like a skateboard ramp, which is ironic because people got in trouble for skateboarding on his headstone. And our most recent president to join this list, Mr. President Jimmy Carter. Again, very modest headstone, very subtle. I think this reflects his personally. I think it looks very cool. Yeah, a solid B. His is cool, but it just doesn't seem. It's just not my personal taste. I wouldn't want something that's extravagant. Final one, Mr. President Bush, number 41. That's S tier. So, this is my tier list of presidential headstones, everybody. I hope you liked it. I hope you have a very good President's Day. Let me know if you want me to do more tier lists about this or talk about presidents, because, you know, I can ramble on and on about U.S. presidents. So, if that's something you'd like to see in the future, let me know. And let me know what you thought about my rating system. Which headstone do you think is the best? Alright, well, thank you all for watching, and I'll see y'all later. You're on.
Yo, what's up?
You're on recording.
I'm on recording?
Yeah.
Hello, everyone.
Hello. Listen to his album. It'll be linked in the description. This video will be out by the time it comes out. I promise. It'll be out by President's Day, right?
It should be. It should be out on the 15th. So.
Okay, so that'll be perfect, actually. Yeah, I just have a few more to go through. This will be right quick. Like I'll be done in just a few. I've just been given like descriptions about it because, you know, I'm a history nerd. But
yeah, are we doing the one next to the big pool?
Yeah. The one with the big screen. When I checked it, there wasn't anybody there. Maybe there's people.
Right now.
Oh, how many? Is it like crowded?
No.
How many people are there, you think?
3.
Well, my thing is that one's hotter than the one closer, so.
The other one was also dirty.
Yeah. Is the game still on?
I know it's golf.
Oh, well. I mean, I would prefer that one just because, you know, it'll be cool to chill there, hang out for a little bit.
I'll just be waiting here for you then.
Okay. Yeah, I'll be down in just a second. I just wanted to record this just while I had it fresh in my mind.
That makes sense. Okay.
All right.
See you in a sec.
See ya. Everyone listen to his album, like and subscribe.
Hell yeah.
All right. See ya.
Peace out.
Peace.